here loves bingo? If you said yes, I'm sorry to tell you, but in today's episode, you're going to be devastated. Everybody knows that bingo is sometimes too nice. So nice that she ends up being forgotten, like that filthy rag that not even the cat wants to rub against anymore. And the episode Dance Mode shows exactly that, how being too nice can turn you into a sucker. Right at the start, we see the little one completely frustrated. Bandit shows up out of nowhere and steals Bingo's last chip, and that's it. The worst day of her life begins. Let's be honest, you don't mess with someone else's fries. That should be a law, right? Trying to make up for it, he asks what he can do to compensate, and that's when everything goes downhill. BLUEY has a brilliant idea. She suggests playing the dance game. What seems like an innocent game soon turns into a series of little disasters, where everyone's having fun, except Bingo. And what starts with a single lost chip is about to become a lesson on the price of being too nice. So if you don't want to go through what Bingo went through, grab your snack, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned to Zigzag, because today, we're investigating the worst day of Bingo's life. At first glance, the game seems like something innocent, even fun, but Dance Mode shows a truth that many people ignore. If you don't learn to say no, the whole world might end up walking all over you. Like the chip incident, which happened because Chili said Bingo wasn't going to eat anymore. Throughout the entire episode, Bingo is interrupted, decided for, and guided by others, especially by BLUEY. And hold on, that doesn't mean BLUEY is a bad sister. She simply does what many older siblings do. She makes decisions for the other without realizing it. BLUEY comes up with the idea for the game. Bandit says Bingo only has 3 dance modes to activate. And guess what? It's BLUEY who asks to activate the first one right away. And Bingo, being who she is, always says yes. Not because she truly wants to, but because she's polite. Because she's afraid of disappointing someone, afraid of seeming boring, afraid of making someone sad. And don't you think that's what hurts the most? The result is this. Bingo spends the whole episode trying to please everyone, while nobody notices what she really feels. And that need to be perfect, to not bother anyone, will come at a high price. Because even the sweetest child has a limit, and hers is about to burst. Who's never said, "It's fine," just to avoid a fight? It's the kind of thing that seems harmless, and lots of people do it, especially those who just want peace and can't stand any kind of hassle, right? At first, it seems like the best choice. You avoid arguments, keep everyone happy, and go on with your day as if nothing happened. But the truth is that this constant yes starts to get heavy, and little by little, what seemed like peace turns into silence. Because when you accept everything just to not hurt anyone, you start building up small wounds that no one sees. Until one day, your heart gets tired of holding it all in. And that's exactly what happens with Bingo. She holds it in, swallows it, pretends everything's fine, until it reaches a point where she can't hide it anymore. And when that explosion comes, no one understands why. But she had been screaming inside for a long time. Are you like Bingo and have trouble saying no to people? Then tell us with the hashtag Bingo, so we can get to know you better. Bingo's situation was already tough. After saying yes to BLUEY and regretting it, she decides next time it's going to be different. But the universe has a pretty cruel sense of humor. During the dance game, BLUEY takes the lead and tells Chili to dance in the middle of the sidewalk like she's some kind of traffic light diva. Poor Bingo makes those faces that say, "Didn't like it, but okay." And when Bingo finally decides that the next chance is hers, fate decides to crank up the difficulty level. Now she has to say no to someone way harder than her sister, her own mother. And let's be honest, saying no to your mom is like trying to argue with the law of gravity. You know you're going to lose, but you try anyway. And guess what's going to happen? Yeah, Bingo loses again. Check this out. Here's the big problem. It all started when Bandit was a big, hungry glutton and stole Bingo's last French fry, right? The whole idea of the dance game was precisely to make Bingo happier, to make up for the mess the adults caused. And things actually start off well. As we saw in the scene with Chili dancing, Bingo was laughing, even though it wasn't her choice to activate the dance mode at that moment. And when she asks BLUEY not to do that again and they get to the little shop, what happens? Chili asks Bingo to use her second dance mode on Bandit just to embarrass him the same way she was embarrassed in the middle of the street. And look at that! The pleading face Chili makes is pure mischief. Now we know where Bluey got that skill from, huh? And Bingo, being the sweet girl she is, represses her feelings once again so she doesn't make her mom sad. And here lies the great irony of it all. Bingo is doing this to be considerate toward her family, but she's not being considerate toward herself. And that's where things start to hurt, don't you think? So, for Bingo, setting boundaries doesn't work, because either way, her soft little heart won't let her stick to her word. And that's exactly what happened with her mom. I'm sure many of us have gone through something similar, and even more intense when it involves our own parents. It's like we're challenging the old folks, kind of without meaning to. But the truth is, this shouldn't be seen as a challenge. They're the ones who should respect your own decisions, no matter if you're still just a little kid. And even though Bingo seems to accept well the decisions others make for her, you can see that, little by little, all those repressed emotions she's holding in start to affect the poor girl. Honestly, I feel really bad for poor Bingo, because a lot of people are actually just like her. They simply don't say what they feel out of fear or embarrassment, and end up doing something they really didn't want to do. And that's why I say you don't need to feel embarrassed here. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel and enjoy videos that talk about the coolest things from your favorite cartoons. And things only get worse for Bingo, because just when she finally builds up the courage to use the last chance she had left, Bandit and Chili decide they don't want to play anymore. Seriously, could it get any more unfair than that? Bingo didn't even get the chance to really play. But wait, it gets worse. Bandit, trying to fix the situation, decides to bribe his daughter to drop the issue. Yep, he offers her $20 to give up her turn to activate the dance mode. And that's when Bingo's head completely collapses. Think about it. If she already couldn't say no to a simple question, how is she supposed to choose between money and the only chance she had left? Of course it doesn't go well. Bluey shows up again and, guess what? Decides for her. And Bingo agrees. Again. Poor thing. The girl is so easy to convince it's almost scary. Because if she keeps growing up like this, without learning to say what she really thinks, she's going to end up letting others decide everything for her. And everyone knows that's a one-way road to becoming an NPC streamer.
Selfie!
Back to the episode, Bluey convinces her sister to accept Bandit's $20, but not satisfied, she still pushes Bingo to buy a toy that only she wanted. A yes and no button. And you can see on Bingo's face that she hates that ugly piece of junk. But what does she do? She says yes, again. By the end of the episode, Bluey is there, happy as can be with the noisy button, while Bingo is walking behind everyone with the saddest look on her face, because they weren't even capable of doing what they had promised her. And what's worse, all of that was supposed to make up for something they had already done wrong to her in the first place. So it's no wonder she ends up lying there in the backseat of the car, looking like she just wants to disappear from the face of the earth. And you know what's worse? If Bandit hadn't asked her what was wrong, she probably would have kept it all to herself like she did before, in the yoga ball episode. And in this episode, things only get resolved because Chili sees her looking sad and decides to ask what happened. And what she says is simple but spot on. No one's going to guess what you're feeling if you don't say it. So, Bingo, and everyone who relates to her, needs to learn how to say no. Because if life were controlled by a button, we should only press yes when it's for real.